What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This guy is a captain. We're going to react to why you shouldn't be an Army aviator.
So I recently did a video on 5 reasons why you should be an Army pilot. So this will be a video on 5 reasons why you should not be an Army helicopter pilot. Believe it or not, not everything in the Army is all sunsets and rainbows. There are some disadvantages, there are some drawbacks, there are some other things to consider that may not be in your favor, and I'm going to tell you all of them and what they are now. Things that you might want to consider before making the decision, or if you're thinking about it, deciding to be an Army aviator. So reason number 1 is the 10-year ADSO. ADSO, ADSO stands for Additional Service Duty Obligation, right? So the Army for the longest time had a 6-year ADSO, meaning if the Army sent you to flight school, you would owe the Army in return 6 years. Recently, the Army's been losing a lot of pilots to the airlines because that pay is so good. I think I read a couple days ago that UPS pilots are making $208,000 minimum in year 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Army's losing a lot of its pilots to the airlines because at the end of the day, people want to take care of their families, and that's really your earning potential allows you to do that really good or very good. So if you want to leave the Army to go make $200,000, I get that. So what does the Army do when it's a bleeding away pilots? It says, you know what? We're going to make you guys sign for 10 years now instead of 2. I don't think this is a right solution to the pilot retention problem, but okay. In my opinion, they're going to lose more pilots interested in joining than keeping the ones they already have. So it's just a problem that's going to manifest itself here in a few years, and then it's going to be even worse than it is now.
All right, yeah, so to touch on that, 2 things. 10-year ADSO, that sucks. If you want to fly helicopters and you want the Army to pay for it, you have to do it. That's what I was kind of, the ship I was on was, I want to do this, I want to be a helicopter pilot, this is how I do it, and I just had to kind of suck it up. The second part that stuck out to me was the taking care of your family. So whenever you do fly for the Army, I am a National Guard guy, so I go once for 2 days every month. We do drill. I don't know how to say that better. Twice a month. There you go. Twice a month, every month, and then 2 weeks during the summer. But pilots have we have hourly minimums that we have to meet every 6 months or 3 months or yearly, however you want to look at it. And we get a certain allotment of days, so we get like an extra couple months that we can use towards meeting those minimums. Now, when it comes to taking care of your family side, he's a captain, I'm a lieutenant, so from the managing people perspective of it, sometimes this is a part-time job for most people. Most people make their money in the airlines, or they're police officers, or they're firefighters, or they're EMTs, or they do extra things. We have some nurses that fly, so that takes priority, and this is a secondary job. So I always look at it from the taking care of your family part, because personally that comes for me first. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to provide for my family, and if I have to have a negative connotation on the Army side because of that, then that's just how it goes. And that's how I perceive everyone else's approach to their family comes first, obviously. And this is kind of a weird job where the military, or the organization in general, they try to look out for your family, but you also have this obligation. So you have to balance that toe on the National Guard side between making your hourly minimums and making your money, and then also having your family time. So that would be a good reason to not do it if you don't think you can do that.
Number 2, commissioned officers do not fly as much as they do in other branches. In Army aviation, once you reach the rank of captain, you'll start to see your flight time significantly reduced, and that's because your responsibilities of doing other things start to significantly increase. So seeing a major fly often is rare, seeing a lieutenant colonel fly is even more rare, and seeing a full bird colonel fly is basically never. Whereas in the Air Force or the Navy, we can see the longevity manifest itself because we can see the 04s, 05s, and 06s consistently flying, and I would probably have to pay $1 million to see a full bird colonel in the Army fly. I've seen it happen one time. Once. Reason number 3 is the pay.
True. So touching on that one, the higher up the ladder you go on the RLO side, or real life officers, what some people say, the less you fly, and that's true past the. It also depends on what command you hold. So if you hold a company commander spot in an aviation company, you'll probably fly more than the dude that's commanding a maintenance program, maybe. Or well, they fly a lot too because a lot of those guys are maintenance test pilots. But I don't know, HHC, for example. So yeah, so you won't fly as much, which is sad. And if you look at, like he's saying, the Air Force or the Navy, those dudes are pilots.
So you're going to join the military, and you've got to be happy being in the military. If you're really after the money, you're going to be unhappy when you see people doing the same exact thing you're doing, making 3 or 4 times your salary on the civilian side. When you start out as a second lieutenant in Fort Rucker flying Army helicopters,
Gang, gang.
your pay will be $53,928 a year. This is including BAH, or your housing allowance. But airline pilots at the regionals typically start at about $81,000 a year. Now, even recently, jumping up to, I think, the highest paid regional first year salary is $101,000 a year. So you'll consistently be looking at your counterparts doubling, tripling, sometimes quadrupling your pay. So definitely something to think about. If you're looking for increasing your earning potential significantly, the military definitely is not the way to do it. You have to really be happy just flying military aircraft with the 10-year service obligation. Reason number 4, what?
All right, so pay, yeah. The way that I see that is the Army pays for you to fly, so you have to pay that debt off. It's like taking a loan, more or less, with your life or your time or however you want to look at it. But Army pays for you to fly, so you have to pay off that debt that they cost to train you and to put you in those positions. The airlines, they get paid a lot, but they also have student loans. So they take that money out themselves personally. They get those loans. They go through their training, and then they get paid a higher amount, but they have to pay it back. We get paid less, but we have nothing to pay back. So in the long run, you will make a lot more in fixed wing in general than you will rotary wing aircraft, because the money is in fixed wing because they are moving people and higher amounts of supplies. This is all just my opinion, right? Like, I don't really know much, so just take it for a grain of salt, but they have a higher payload, people actually paying them to move stuff than we do. I fly Blackhawks, so we carry 10 people or whatever. If you look at it from an airline perspective, they move 60 people. So if all 60 of those people were paying you $300 versus 10 people paying you $300, obviously 60 people is going to make more. They have more allocation to pay the pilots.
Why you should not be an Army helicopter pilot. This flight school is mentally exhausting. I honestly can't put into words what that year and a half is like. It's not a fun time. It's not a good time. You're there, and from day one that you're there, you're ready to be done. From day one, you're ready to graduate. I lied. Maybe not day one. Maybe day 30. And then you're like, wow, I'm over this place. Having gone to college, I've kind of expected flight school to be similar to a college academic learning environment, but it was definitely not what I expected. It was easily 4 or 5 times more difficult and time-consuming than college was. You somehow have to figure out managing your life, if you have a personal life, if you have a family, with your academics, with flying the aircraft, with memorization, with everything, and there's literally not enough hours in the day for you to figure out all of these things that you need to figure out. It will most likely be the most stressful and challenging thing you've ever done, and it will be like that consistently every day for a year and a half. So if that's not something you're looking forward to or don't think you can handle, then it's definitely something to consider, knowing what you're getting yourself into, because I can't tell you the amount of times where my friends have reached out from flight school asking me, what the hell did they sign up for? And lastly, flight time.
Flight school sucks. Some people have fun. It depends on your instructor, and it depends on your aptitude. Best advice I can give you is get a hold of somebody in your unit, or get a hold of somebody that has just got out, or somebody that has the knowledge, and get a hold of what you need to study. 5 and 9s and stuff, you'll have to memorize. The general aviation courses, a lot of guys have those still, and we use them for refreshers throughout the year, because the stuff that you learn in flight school is the same questions and the same things that you'll be asked, maybe more in depth later on for the rest of your career. So the check rides that you take in flight school, they'll ask you, I don't know, I don't want to get too crazy with it, but they'll ask you, how much VFR reserve time do you need? And that answer is the same answer 10 years from now, unless they change the doctrine. But what I'm saying is like, study ahead of time and have a general idea of what you're learning, and then you will not have to stress as much as I did. It was a kick in the nuts to go to flight school. It was terrible. I was working probably 20-hour days, and I was sleeping at most 6 hours at most, studying the whole time. I didn't go to the gym. I loved going to the gym, didn't get to go. Barely had time to eat. If I spent more than 15 minutes eating, I was like stressed because I didn't have enough time to do something else. So it is very hard, but if you want to be there, you'll make it happen. The screening process is super like regulated and ironed out. So if you're there, you most likely have the aptitude to make it. It's just whether or not you apply yourself super hard. Side note, there was some guys there that had a really great time, and they were happy and they were chipper and they got to go to the gym, and it depends on your flight instructors, and it depends on like your environment that you're in. Maybe it depends on the time of year, I don't know, but yeah, so it can be super hard, and it is hard. It was hard for me. I'm not like super smart or anything, like I'm just an average dude, and everybody says it, if I can make it, you can make it, which is true, but just know you're gonna have to try every day the whole time, most likely, unless you're just one of those guys that can like read something, or girls that can read something and remember it for the rest of your life. I am not, so
as an Army helicopter pilot, you will not be getting a ton of flight time that you may be if you're flying some other platform in another branch. In Army aviation, we'll average maybe 100 to 130 hours annually. And this is if you're flying a lot. You'll have to also deal with new fiscal year budget cuts, which happen every year. You start flying, and then the Army will say, well, we're out of money. Stop flying for 3, 4, 5 months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes more. During that time, you'll get very little to no flight time. I'm at 6 years in Army aviation. I'm at 1,000 hours. Recently, I was talking to a Navy helicopter pilot who graduated at the same time I did, who has 3,000 hours. So if flight time is what you're looking for, you're not going to get it in Army aviation, but in other branches, you most certainly will. So that is my 5 reasons why you should not be an Army helicopter pilot. And this isn't really reasons you shouldn't do it. This is reasons and things you should consider before signing up.
All right, before he closes out, so yeah, you don't fly as much as other guys because they're more pilots than managers. We're more managers than pilots after a certain point. If you look at any jobs, you can pull up like Indeed, or you can get on your LinkedIn or whatever and look at job applications. Normally you need about 1,500 hours ish to get a decent paying helicopter job. You can get them before then. They won't pay a lot, but you will build hours. So there's ways to do aviation on the civilian side to get you your hours that you need. This is a good video, and I'm going to keep doing these reactions as long as people like him don't care that I do them. So let's close it out.
For that 10-year commitment that I wish I knew prior to, I would have still made the same decision 100%. But for some people out there knowing this, it might be a deciding factor for you to not want to do something versus wanting to do it. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it or if you learned something today, leave a comment down there. Let me know what you guys want to see me make more videos on. Subscribe if you want to, like if you want to, but really let me know in the comments of the videos that you guys want to see me make. Questions you want to have answered, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to make a video for you.
Same thing that he said, right? So if you want to see more from me, let me know. This is his channel. I'm going to try to do these at the end of every video just to pass it forward, you know. This is a dunker thing that he did. Damian Bailey is his name. And seems like a pretty good dude. So he flies 60s, I fly 60s. I've watched a couple of these videos. I haven't watched anywhere close to all of them, but they seem pretty informative. I guess, yeah. So thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.